Hello, this is Apple iOSGenius on the YouTube channel. And today I'm going to go through a tutorial of a program that I found very useful, and I use it at my work at educational institution, as well as I've seen other people use it as well, and I recommend other people to use it. This is an alternate way to go ahead and use your Apple mobile devices, basically Apple devices, to AirPlay through a receiver, and so you can go ahead and project it onto a projector. Normally you have to purchase an Apple device or hardware or iOS device, anywhere from $200–300 to display onto your projector or to display it to other individuals in the room. And so there's actually a much cheaper way to do it, and it's very easy and very sufficient. So in case you just came across my video, when you go to YouTube, just go ahead and type in Apple iOSGenius. And this is not just Apple that I do reviews and tutorials for, it's also for Android and mobile laptop devices. So you can just go ahead and do a search for iOSGenius, and here it is where it's by iOSGenius. You want to go ahead and select that. And I'll show you my current video list, as well as selecting videos. Well, actually will show you my other videos that I have listed as and uploaded as well. So let's go back to the app that we're talking in question. The website you want to go to is actually called Reflector app.com, and there it is. So basically it's wireless and mirror your iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch to touchscreen to any Mac or PC. Yes, you can do this on a PC as well, which is great. So we're just going to go ahead and do the trial Reflector, and then I'll create another video after this point what happens when you actually buy the full version, if there's any different features or functionality. So let's go ahead. So we're going to go ahead and try Reflector. I'm going to use my iPhone 5, and I'm going to go ahead and use my iPad mini that I have here. So two completely different devices. There are instructions here that you can follow through and figure out how to install and get them configured and so forth. You can follow through that procedure. Once you selected the download, it would actually automatically take you to this page. Or continue watching my video, and you can be able to do it more hands-on. So we're going to go to Downloads. I'm going to do the Reflector. It's going to go ahead and install. You want to make sure that since this is not an approved Apple iOS identified developer, you want to make sure in your system preferences you may come across to a point where if you're trying to install it and it will not allow you to install it because the identified developer is not listed under Apple. So what you want to do here is you want to make sure you have it. You may have this mark or this one check mark, either one of these two, and it will not allow you to install any third-party programs. So you want to just do is select anywhere, and it will allow you to ask you if you want to be less or secure, if you want to go ahead and install it. So you want to say allow for anywhere. Currently I'm running Mavericks 10.9.1. This works all the way back to 10.6.8. So on the older versions of 10.7, 10.6, will not have the option where it says allow apps to download from. So just in case. Alright, so now we're here at the Reflector, and we're going to go ahead and drag this icon over. The only thing is that I'm making this video is because it is not a normal trial version where you normally have 15 days, 7 days, 30 days, so forth to use it. You actually only have 10 minutes to actually see if you like this program or not. So I'm gonna for sure purchase the program, but I wanted to actually show you a quick little video on how to do this. So I've already copied it to my applications folder. Go to my applications, and then I want to look for Reflector, which probably right down here somewhere. There we go. So you can go ahead and double left click it or drag it to your dock. Now as you can see here, Reflector is an application download from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? In Mavericks 10.9, you would be prompted with this each and every time because it's not listed as an identified developer through Apple's list. So you want to go ahead and open it. It's going to prompt you to this page, and basically this is where you put in your registration code. Since I do not have a registration code, I'm just going to try it out. I'm going to hit try Reflector down here at the bottom. but I am not going to select this yet because we're going to go through, because what happens is if you hit try reflector, it starts 10 minutes from the time you select try reflector. So technically you want to go ahead and I know on a previous version of Reflector, once you hit try Reflector, it starts at that time. This might be a newer version, and it may only be activated once you start airplane. But I don't want to take that chance, so I'm just going to go ahead to my Reflector here. You can go ahead and do it and check updates if you wanted to. You can register it when you purchase it, or you can do the preferences. So we're going to do preferences. And here it's going to be giving you the options to optimize any of the devices to 1280 by 720, which is basically 1280 by 720 is on most Apple devices. Unless you're talking about like a really old device, like an iPod Touch, or that's maybe a second or possibly third gen. But you do have other additional options in here if you wanted to change them. So if you were doing like an iPad, there's an iPad here. This 1024/768, this is actually 2 years ago iPad. This is the one where I had the dock connector, which is a 30 pin, which is a very wide cable connected. So you would use that resolution. But if you're using like a newer phone or a newer iPad and so forth, you just kind of want to just stay with the any device. You can select the 1920 by 1080. The only thing is that maybe the icons will shrink on the actual AirPlay. But we're going to go ahead and try this to see if it actually changes or not. So we're going to go ahead. This is actually my computer name, but I'm going to actually just change it to... Oops. Sifu is actually my nickname, so we'll just call it Apple iOSGenius. Is basically, you can use the actual computer name, or you can put a name that you know you're going to connect to when you're doing airplane. Similar like doing your Apple TV. You know, it's the Apple TV in the living room. You hit Apple TV living room, or whatever name you may associate it with. So you can go ahead and put a password if you like. We're just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. If I did that right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason is because if you have this reflector installed on your Mac, and other people may have it installed on their Macs as well, and you guys don't put a password, they can easily just connect to your Mac as AirPlay and interrupt your class session or your meeting or so forth. And you kind of don't want that. So, because you're not sure if some kid is pressing the AirPlay by accident and they're playing some game, and your boss is looking at that and so forth. But anyways, full screen background. The background is basically just going to be about the size of not this screen, but a little bit bigger, and it's only going to cover a certain portion, like the center portion of the MacBook. It's not going to take the full screen of the MacBook. That was on the older version. We're going to check on this version if that still does the same or not. You can change the color background if you wanted to. It's defaulted to black. We're going to go ahead and change it to like some red for Apple. Desktop background. Basically, if you want to change this wallpaper that I have right here, it was iOSGenius. It's going to actually change my main wallpaper on my computer to have whatever color or background that it's going to do for whatever it has on the iPad. So, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and continue. So we're going to go ahead and hit done. We have a password already listed. AirPlay name. We're going to hit done. We're going to hit try Reflector. Now it says running in trial mode. You are running the Reflector in trial mode. Reflector will automatically close after 10 minutes when running in this mode. So here we go. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to go ahead and pick up my iPhone 5 here, and I'm going to slide it over. Let me make sure there's audio here. I'm going to hit settings, and then I'm going to go to it's not settings, my apologies. You want to go to your control center, and then once you're in your control center, you want to go ahead and select on AirPlay in the bottom right. I'm using iOS 7, and right now I have the option of iPhone and Apple TV. So you want to make, that's what was going on. So just so you know, future thought, you have to be connected to the same Wi-Fi network for this to work. So right now I'm going to go ahead and hit my Wi-Fi here. See my Wi-Fi? I'm under rent Wi-Fi. This is a Wi-Fi that I actually shared to other people or in my neighborhood. And the Wi-Fi that's connected to my cell phone is actually just a different SSID. So it's actually this SSID. That's why it's not working. So you want to go ahead and click this. Give it a second. It's going to initialize, connect it to that. And then, now that's done. So while in Reflector, it's running down here in the bottom right corner. You want to go ahead and select onto your notification settings on your phone or iPad and select on AirPlay. Now it should populate, which right now it sure has. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And then I want to go ahead and select on Apple iOSGenius. Once I do that, it automatically prompts me with the AirPlay password. So I've gone ahead to capture that. Since there's no way for me to actually show you what the screen is that I'm looking at. And then I'm going to hit OK. Give it a few seconds. Oh, well actually, you know what? I put in a different password. And then right below the Apple iOSGenius, you have an option called mirroring. You want to go ahead and select that. Once you select this, pretty instantaneous. This should appear on, and there you go. So this is kind of what I'm looking into. This is actually I'm using a white iPhone 5. This is a black one. As far as I know, the older version, you were able to have an option to change the color or skin. Oh yeah, here we go. You can change the skin color. We'll do green. So I have an iPhone 5C now. But no, actually I only have an iPhone 5. So we'll just do white, like I like. You can actually stretch it to fit to the screen if you wanted to. So basically it can be a full size of your computer. You can do landscape or portrait. So if I move my iPhone 5 sideways, it's not going to really do anything. But if I'm doing that, if I wanted to, I can see what it looks like sideways if I'm playing a game or an application that works sideways. So we're going to go ahead and move it back to portrait. So this is basically a quick way on how to basically see your iPhone device. And I'm moving through the apps that I have here listed. Let's see if we can go into something really quick here. I use Sidecar. I'm actually a Sidecar driver in Chicago. And basically this is just my information. And as you can see, it just pulls up all the information, the rates and so forth, rides, etc. Look, wow, interesting. They put my Jeep upside down. Come on. Can you think about that a little different? So this is actually pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and stop the AirPlay on this device because I'm going to go and see about moving it and jumping into an iPad very quickly. I'm using an iPad mini that has Retina display, and we're going to go ahead and hit AirPlay. We're going to select Apple iOSGenius, which is I explained earlier, and then you want to go ahead and type in your password if you have one designated. Once you enter your password, it would have a check mark, and then you'll have a mirroring option. You want to select on mirroring and give it a few seconds, and there you go. So now this iPad mini here is actually showing. As you can see, there's the full screen itself. Yeah, I can pull this up, and then I can put up the volume level, brighten it up if needs to be. But when you brighten it up on the iPad mini, it actually shows brighter in the mini, but not on the computer itself. This is basically, excuse me, these are all the apps that are running in my iPad mini. And here's Clumsy Ninja. Very cute, interesting game. And I'm just going to go through this really quick just so you can see that you can use an application and stream and move your application through an iPad. So actually, you know what, it's taking a while. So I only have 10 minutes, so I don't know how many minutes I've been already using. But there you go. That's basically how to use Reflector. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, feel free to reach out, and I'll be glad to provide you any questions or additional testing if needed. Thanks, and this is Apple iOSGenius.